So hi everyone, my name is Rebecca Tivang. I am a career coach with UCSC's Career Success Team, and I also supervise our peer coaches. Today I'm going to give you a presentation about how to best prepare for the virtual job fair, which is coming up. And at the end of this presentation, you will have access to a recording and the slides. So if you miss anything, don't worry about it. Okay. So to start with, please save the date because the two upcoming fairs are going to be next week. You may not know yet, but Monday is a holiday. Hooray. So it's going to start on Tuesday, which is the start of the work week. So on Tuesday, the 26th from 9 to 6, we have the STEM fair. And then on Wednesday, on May 27th, also from 9 to 6, we have the general career fair. These are UC-wide, so all of the UC campuses are participating. So far, we have 93 employers signed up for the STEM fair and 91 employers signed up for the general fair. So there's a fair number of employers, and it's really important that you prepare and participate because the format is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so if you want to see more about these events, these are the two links. You'll need to follow them and you'll need to actually go to Career Eco, which I will talk about in a minute. So you may be asking yourself, what's the point of attending a virtual career fair? Hopefully not, but if you are, here's some things that you can keep in mind. One of them is that this is an excellent opportunity for you to continue to network with professionals, even though you might not be able to see people in person and you might think of networking as something that happens in person. The reality is that you can do a lot of it online. You can do a lot of networking via LinkedIn. You can do it by reaching out to people directly. This is a way where employers are actually coming to you and you don't even need to go out of your house. This is a way for you to gather more information about potential careers. So you can learn about different companies, you can learn about different positions that they're hiring for, and that can factor into your career decision making in the long term. And this is a way for you to learn more about employers in your specific field. Like I said, they're coming to you, so definitely take advantage of this opportunity. So in terms of preparing, you will definitely need to go to Career Eco, which is the platform that the fair is going to be held on. And when you go there, you can actually review the list of employers who are participating in the fair. You'll also see the times that they're available to chat. And I'm going to show you a video in a little bit about how to do that. It's really important that you don't go into the fair not knowing anything about the employers, because one of their least favorite questions is, so what do you do? They want you to know that already. So when you go into Career Eco and you look at the list of employers, find some that you're interested in and put the effort in to do some research about who they are. Go to their website, find out, where they're located, what kinds of positions they're hiring for, and then use that research to rank the organizations in the order of your interest to best determine which ones you want to chat with. You might not have time to chat with everybody that you want to, whether that's because of class time or because they're going to have other students that they're talking to. It's really important that beforehand you actually rank them, because then they can also see that and they'll be able to see, if you're very interested in them, they'll prioritize talking to you. You also want to make sure that you prepare ahead of time a list of questions to ask them so that when you do have the chance to chat with them through the platform, that you're prepared for that. It's nice to just practice out loud, even if you're likely to be doing it over text or by typing. But make sure that you have a list ahead of time and that they're good questions, they're not generic questions. Okay. By the way, I forgot to mention, you can put your questions, we don't have chat enabled, but you can put your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll type our answers to those. Okay, so in order to register for the virtual fair, you're gonna have to go to Career Eco. So I'm actually gonna show you that video tutorial right now. I have it already pulled up. Taylor, can you see this?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to play it right now.
Rebecca, we can't hear the video
Oh,
volume.
that's okay. Hold on. Thank you for letting me know. Let me see. Maybe if I take my headphones out. All right. How's it now?
For best results, please log in using an up-to-date
That
version of Google
sounds
Chrome
good.
or Firefox on a desktop or laptop computer. If you're participating in a virtual career fair, upload your resume. This isn't required for virtual grad school fairs. However, you may still upload your resume for organizations to review. You may edit your profile, which includes your contact details, educational details, document uploading, and email preferences. Before participating in the virtual fair, make sure you have reviewed and expressed interest in participating organizations. Click Event Details, and then Event Details Learn More. Click an organization's name to view their profile. Click the gray checkbox to indicate your interest in that organization, and as you can see, it will turn blue. The organizations you indicate interest in will be notified that you've done so. Review the chat schedule ahead of the fair to know when the participating organizations will be available. For job seekers, review the job board to see positions posted through the career ecosystem. You may receive messages from organizations participating in the event. The number of unread messages will appear next to the Messages tab. To enter the chat sessions on the event day, click Chat Now. This will take you to the Rooms area where you'll see a list of currently open chat rooms. Close and open the chat icons window as needed. This will help you identify any icons or symbols that you don't understand. Control sounds in the chat room by clicking on the speaker icon. Review organization names, chat room topics, and chat times to determine which rooms you'd like to enter. Also, be sure to note the fair's time zone. Moderator Online indicates that an organization representative is online and available to chat. Click Join Chat to enter a room. Organization reps and other candidates are listed. You will see your full name, first and last. However, other candidates will only see your first name and last initial. And you will only see the first name and last initial of any other candidates who are in the room. Links to the organization's profile and various social media platforms may be available. Click the Files button to see if there are any downloadable files that the organization has provided. Messages posted to the main chat room are visible to everyone who is in the room. You can also read through conversations that have happened in the main chat before you enter the room. To private chat with an organization rep, click the blue arrow to the right of their name and select Invite to Private Chat. Once you send a message using the bottom chat message box that is opened up, the rep will receive an alert and be able to respond. Reps may also initiate a private chat with you, and you can go back and forth between each individual private chat by clicking on the rep's name. Keep in mind that some reps may choose to block private chats and answer all questions in the main chat. Though each fair is different, you can generally enter more than one room at a time. Click the Rooms tab and join another room by clicking Join Chat. Toggle between rooms by clicking on the tabs at the top of your screen. You will receive alerts when you receive messages in a room that you're not currently in. A quick tip, only do this if you're able to efficiently concentrate on more than one conversation at a time. Otherwise, enter one room at a time. Organization reps may broadcast audio or video into the room, share their screen and audio to give a presentation, or invite you to have a one-on-one private video conversation. To be able to participate in these features, you must be logged in on a desktop or laptop computer using an up-to-date version of Google Chrome or Firefox. The multimedia features are not supported in other browsers. You can leave the room by clicking on the Exit Room button. If you need any help or have any questions during the fair, please click on the Need Help button to access our contact information.
All right. Let's put the headphones back. All right. Can you hear me? Hopefully, yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Cool. Okay. So that was the video. Like I said, you'll have access to this after the fact. It's also linked on the Handshake page, if I'm not mistaken. But one of the main takeaways that I think we really need to be clear about here is that this is through a separate platform. So this is not through Handshake, it's through Career Eco. So in order to actually access the fair, you'll need to make an account on Career Eco, set up your profile, and then actually participate through that platform. So there are a lot of really great resources that they've provided. One of them is a frequently asked question. So you can either use the QR code or actually click on the link here once I share this presentation with you. Okay. So here's some just action steps to break down. You need to register for the fair on Career Eco, upload your resume, and RSVP to this event. It's the UC Career Fair. Then when you're actually, once you're in the platform, you'll be able to see which employers are going to be there, check and see which jobs they're hiring for, and apply for the positions. That being said, you may want to wait to do this until after you've talked to the representatives and the recruiters. So at least have an idea of what options are available to you before you go in. And if you don't want to apply until after so that you can reference your conversation with them in your application, that's okay too. The chat rooms and private chats are going to be where you're going to actually have contact with the recruiters. Now, bear in mind that they're going to be, there's going to be a lot of students who are interested in talking to them, right? So you may not be able to access them immediately. Like when you chat, they might not respond immediately. So that's where you can have multiple rooms, but you also need to be monitoring for those notifications so that you don't miss a chat when a recruiter is available to talk to you. There might be lines, so to speak, just because this is an event for all of UC, and there will be a lot of students attending. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can address that through your own planning, but just do know that it might not be an instantaneous chat. So you will need to be monitoring that. And then just make sure before the fair that you have access to stable internet and that you're using a current version of the browsers that they mentioned, Firefox or Chrome. Okay, so some logistics to think about. Do you have access to a webcam and a microphone? I really recommend if you are going to engage in a video chat, not all employers are going to do that. It might not be something that they have time for, but it could happen. I always recommend using like a headphones with a microphone versus just using the broad, like your computer microphone, because the sound tends to be better for them. Please note what time the fair is actually going to take place if you're in a different time zone. Make sure that you have a space set up that's quiet, well lit, and doesn't have a lot of distractions. And make sure that you look professionally presentable. I always feel better when I dress up a little bit for these kinds of things. Just psychologically, it has a positive impact on the way that you present yourself, even if you're just chatting. So I really do encourage you to dress nicely, not just from the waist up, although you can if you want to, but you never know what happens. I say wear pants. You don't want to be like that anchor who was not wearing pants. Okay, so before you go to the fair, remember these 4 R's. Register. Don't forget to register, otherwise you won't be able to attend. Research the companies. This is going to help you make a really positive impression, and it's going to help you to narrow down who you actually want to spend time talking to. Review your resume. You can do that through the Career Center. We still have resume reviews done virtually. Obviously, we're not doing in-person services right now, but we do have peers available to review your resume every day from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I'll talk about that more in a bit. And then also rehearse your introduction. So it might not actually be like an in-person or video introduction, but you do want to have something prepared. So here's some nonverbal contact or communication skills that you may need to practice over, if you're doing video. These are all things that are going to come across differently through Zoom. So making eye contact means looking at the camera versus looking down at the screen. Smiling and being enthusiastic, people can't necessarily pick up on your energy in the same way, so it's important to still project that energy. Using hand gestures, but not too much. That's a struggle for me. I talk with my hands. And good posture. I'm a hunter. It's important to sit up straight and make sure that you have a good distance from the camera. However, a lot of this you're actually going to be doing through the chat feature, which means that you can actually prepare ahead of time with your written elevator pitch. So an elevator pitch is essentially your little mini commercial about yourself, your way to introduce who you are and what you have to offer. So what I recommend doing is actually write that down ahead of time, do some editing, and make it sound really nice, so that you have that ready to go when you want to initiate a chat with a recruiter. So typically you want to have, like, say your name, right? Hi, I'm Rebecca. And then say what you're working toward in terms of your degree. So if it's a bachelor's degree, say, like, I'm currently working toward my bachelor's degree in, name your major. I saw that this company has this position, be specific. And then talk a little bit about your own journey. So, why you're interested in your field, what kinds of experiences that you have, try not to name too many. And then ask a question of them. You typically want to make sure that you're asking a question that is tailored to the company. So not just like, what do you all do? But what positions do you have available that would work directly with this, for example? If you've done your research ahead of time, you should probably know what positions they're hiring for. But if you couldn't find them in your research, it's okay to ask. You could also ask questions about, like, what types of qualities they look for in a candidate, or say that you would love to talk more about the internship opportunity that you saw. All right. And just a reminder, if you want to put those questions in the Q&A, and I'll address them in a little bit. So the people who are on the other end of the screen, the recruiters are not the same as the hiring managers. So there are people who are going to get you in touch with the hiring managers. There are people who can tell you more about the company, but they're not the ones who are actually directly supervising the person who they're hiring for, right? Everything that you're typing in that chat room is going to reflect upon you. So don't use it as an excuse to be like crude or make silly jokes. You don't want to make a negative impression through kind of inconsiderate use of chat. So typing a whole bunch of messages all at once and kind of monopolizing the conversation, especially in a group chat. It doesn't always reflect well. Be polite, wait your turn, but also, make sure that you initiate a conversation. Spell check, try to use proper grammar, not too many abbreviations. And that attitude and the sort of impression that you give across is going to help them determine if you're going to be a good fit for the company, and they can kind of highlight your application when you apply. So this does really matter, and it can be a really positive step for you. Okay, so here are some things that you can do if you're getting a chance to actually have a video chat with someone. Mirroring kind of their approach. If they're being casual and conversational, matching that, kind of picking up on their social cues, smiling if they're smiling, those kinds of things to help you come across as charismatic. They want people who can represent the company and represent those missions and values and interests. So if you know ahead of time what the company is looking for, that helps you to make a more positive impression. So prep your technology ahead of time. Make sure that everything is working smoothly. Make sure that your profile is already set up. Make sure you've already uploaded your resume to Career Eco. You can actually upload multiple resumes, and I really recommend making specific resumes for the company that you're interested in, because you might represent your experiences differently. And again, that's something that you can work on with a peer coach through our drop-in. Please also make sure to proofread. Even though it's a chat and it might seem a little bit less formal, it actually still reflects on you, and especially upon your written communication skills, which is something that employers very much care about. So do spell check, do proofread, take the time to type things out fully versus doing the abbreviations. I wouldn't use emojis unless they're using a bunch of emojis and you're trying to mirror them, but it doesn't seem super likely. Still dress up, just in case you might get invited to a video chat, which is essentially like an interview. So dress nicely. Make sure your environment's prepared. And here are some good questions that you can ask. So like I said, they don't want to hear, what do you all do? That shows that you didn't prepare, right? But if you say, what skills are you looking for this position? suddenly you are showing an interest and you've done your research to know what specifically they're hiring for. You could ask about the hiring process. You could ask about professional development opportunities. You can ask about the company culture. And then here are some questions that they might ask you. And these are questions that you should be prepared to answer. So why are you interested? What are you looking for? What kinds of experience do you have? So I really recommend, because this is all in a chat function, that you actually write out your answers to these questions and have them prepared ahead of time. So if you can kind of jot down some notes, especially your elevator pitch, but especially like if you're doing research about the company and things are standing out to you, make some notes to yourself and then compile that into like a nice like 2-sentence response that you could give to them about why you're excited about their company. If you have leadership experience or you have work experience that sort of led you to be interested in the field, write a little bit about that. You don't want to be doing paragraphs. They're going to be talking to a lot of students, so you don't want to take up too much time. But having a couple sentences ready to sort of respond to some of these questions will help you when you're actually in that chat and in that situation. You don't have too much time. Don't just copy and paste and assume that it's perfect and realize you weren't actually addressing their question. You may need to edit your answers, but if you have some kind of stock answers ready, it'll speed up the process. Again, there's going to be a lot of students, so you want to make sure that you're being considerate of others. Okay. So when you're talking to the recruiter, please get their contact information because you want to be able to follow up with them. They might not give you their number, but they could give you their email address. Get their name and email. If they've said it already, like in the group chat, if that's already been listed, take note of it and you don't need to ask them again because you don't want to have them do duplicate work. If they haven't, you can request that in your private conversation. You really want to get the contact information of the person who's going to be hiring in your particular area of interest. So don't be afraid to ask for that. But again, make sure that you're not asking the same question that everyone else is asking. All right. So the private chat is an exciting feature. It gives you the opportunity to talk one-on-one with the recruiter. So prepare for it. Treat it like an interview. Have your resume ready. Have it in front of you if you can, and prepared to send to them if they ask for it. Even though they can access it through the platform, they might not. So have it in case they want it. You should initiate these chats. They're probably not going to initiate a chat with you. So you should really take the step to do so. But before you do it, do a little bit of sleuthing and figure out what they've been talking about in the group chat. So read through that so that you're not asking, again, the same questions they've heard over and over again. Your whole goal is to convince them that you're a good fit for their company. So this is why you want to do research, because if you don't know who your audience is, it's really hard to market yourself to them, right? So know about their company and know why you're a really good fit for it. Ask them for their contact information when that chat is finished, and ask them about the next steps of the hiring process. A mistake that I see a lot of students doing in career fairs of all kind is that they have an amazing conversation with the recruiter, they go home, and then they wait to hear back from the recruiter. You have to take the initiative to reach out and you have to apply for the position, because if you don't, they're not going to be able to hire you, right? So please make sure that you follow up in the appropriate way. It's a great idea to ask them what the next steps are. And that way, when you actually apply for the position, you can name drop. You can say, I had a wonderful conversation with Kathy at the virtual UC career fair, and it made me really excited about X, Y, and Z. Like, name something specific about your conversation that excites you about the position. And then that'll make your application stand out, and it'll show that you have both follow through and enthusiasm. Okay. So don't forget to follow up. Please don't forget to follow through. Okay. So the virtual format is kind of weird, right? It's not like you can just like walk up to a person and be like, hi, I'm Rebecca, nice to meet you. You do need to still introduce yourself, and the way that you need to do that is by initiating the chat. So ask them if they're available. Once they've made the connection, you start with your elevator pitch, which you've prepared ahead of time, and then you continue the conversation. Don't put it on them to lead the conversation, right? You can ask questions, be engaged, and this is where I really recommend managing the number of chats that you have open. I don't know about you, but I cannot give my full attention to 5 different people that I'm talking to at once. I start to get scattered and my answers aren't as specific. So be strategic, you know yourself best, but don't overcommit to too many chats, because if they all end up happening at the same time, it's going to be really stressful and you might not make your best impression. So be ready to engage and have an actual conversation with them. And then when you're done with the conversation, don't just disappear. Nobody likes to be ghosted. It's kind of awkward. So make sure that you like thank them for their time. It was really enjoyable talking to you. I hope you have a wonderful day. You can also ask what the next steps are. Like, you know, thank you so much for telling me more about this position. I'm really excited to apply. Can you tell me what the next steps are? They'll tell you, thank them, have a great day. It can be kind of awkward with the virtual format to really know when the conversation is over. So it's most polite to make sure that you do actually end it versus just kind of vanishing into the ether. Okay. After the fair, follow up. Please follow up. Send a thank you note. They just took a bunch of time to talk to you, right? They engaged, they answered your questions, took time out of their day. That's it's a really helpful thing. It can make a big difference for your application. So thank them accordingly, right? Express appreciation for the time that they offered. Let them know that you've completed the application, and just reiterate your interest in the company. You can connect with them on LinkedIn. Some of them will accept, some of them won't. Most likely they will, but do that soon after the connecting on LinkedIn so they still remember you. And then I would follow up within 24 hours. 24, like 2 days max. You don't want to let it stretch on too long because they're not going to remember your conversation anymore. If you follow up right away, if you haven't applied yet, you know, maybe apply first and then follow up. But you do want to move pretty quickly. Don't forget to apply. So many people do this. They have this amazing conversation with the recruiter. Things are going really well. And then I ask them like, oh, did you get an interview? And they're like, they never reached out to me. You have to apply for the position. They can't do anything otherwise, right? I know I've said this before, but it's really, really important. And then you can send them your updated resume too. So if you've talked to them and they've given you some insight about the skills and qualifications that they're looking for, or the kinds of things that an ideal candidate has, and you realize like, oh, I totally have those things, or I actually did that in my internship, but it's not reflected on your resume, update your resume. They've given you an insider tip. Use it. Update your resume and then submit it as part of your application. Okay. So here's some QR codes. You can use those. Like I said, there's the tutorial video that we talked about. There's a PDF of the tutorial from Career Eco, and then frequently asked questions. Okay. Now, before I finish, I just want to really advise you, before the fair, have somebody help you to prepare. Attend our drop-in hours. You can actually have just a 15-minute session with a peer coach to go over your resume, to talk about your elevator pitch, to practice having a conversation, ask them questions about Career Eco. They're experts and they're really excited to help you. And it's all virtual. So you can look on our website and have the information. It has it there. There's a calendar that you can click on a link and they actually take you to a Zoom link. Or you can just email cc_coach, cc_coach@ucsc.edu. And then if you want to have an appointment with a coach, we're happy to meet with you. Those appointments are 30 minutes and you can schedule those through Handshake. Take the time to prepare. It's going to make a really big difference for you. And this is an exciting opportunity. All right. So thank you very much. Taylor, are there any other questions in the Q&A?
There is no, oh, yes, we are starting to get some questions. They are saying thank you so much for the presentation. I will have one question though. Would it be possible to have a coach work with me to find opportunities?
So what I would recommend that you do first is try it on your own. See what is available both on Career Eco and on Handshake. We also have a new page on our website that's just purely dedicated to the virtual job search. So use those resources and do some exploring on your own. And then if you find some things or you don't find some things, either way, have like your materials ready, and then you can make an appointment with a coach. But I think it's more helpful if you try first versus not even doing anything and then coming into a coach, because we're just going to tell you to pursue those links first. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you so much. I will be sending out this video. Well, actually, it'll take a while to process on YouTube, but I have another video I can share with you, which is the same exact presentation. I will send you all the resource links. I will also send you how to do drop-in appointments, and also share with you a post-event survey. So look out for an email from Handshake after we are done with this event today. Is there any other questions? Everyone's just saying thank you, Rebecca. So thank you so much.
Yeah. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to stick around and answer.
Yeah, we'll give it a couple minutes and just see if any more come through. Most of the questions have just been, where can we find this recording? And so don't worry, we will share this with you after the fact.